So, hey y'all, you join me on a sunny but chilly day here in Connecticut, and I've had my Polestar 2 now for about a year and a half, just past 16,000 miles, and I know you're like, Ted, can you please tell me more about this car and why you bought it, what you like and what you don't like? So, since we're here, let's get into that. Okay, so like I said, I've owned the car since 2022. April of 2022 is when I got it. Just past 16,000 miles. So I thought, why not? I'll go through all the stuff that I like about the car, the things I don't like about the car. I'm sure there's plenty of videos. I've seen them out there of other Polestar owners that have gone through this, done the same type of video, but I'm going to do one anyway. Why not, right? So, the first question is probably like, why the Polestar 2 as opposed to a Tesla or some other EV brand? Well, the first thing was I wanted something that was a little different. The town that I live in has a population of about 16,000 people, and I feel like 14,000 of them have Teslas. Lots of Model 3s and Ys in the town I live in. There's a good number of X's as well. There's maybe a couple Model S's, a lot of X's, a lot of Y's, a lot of 3s. I walk every day at noontime, do a loop around town, and in the 25 minutes I'm out there, if I don't see 10 Teslas go by, it's a slow day. So a lot of people have Teslas. So I wanted an EV, but I wanted something that was a little different than what everybody else had. I didn't want the same thing, basically. So, when you consider just in the last 18 or so months, the number of new EVs that have come onto the market, at the time, there weren't as many choices. I think the EV6 was like brand new out there, and the GT wasn't out yet. And if it's not the top of the line one, I didn't really want it. I wasn't really all that interested in the Ioniq 5. It's a nice car. Actually, I've driven one since, and I actually really liked it, but not as much as this. This just seemed like the right mix of premium, because I definitely wanted a car that was a kind of a premium car. It was different. It has good power because it's the dual motor, long range, with the performance pack. That's why I have the yellow seat belts and the gold calipers. And at the time, Tesla's pricing was actually higher than it is today. So the price comp between this and a Model Y was pretty similar. They're basically the same price at the time, and this was about 70,000. So there wasn't a lot of difference. When if I was looking at the Model Y Performance, it was pretty much the same price as this car. So there was no real price incentive to go with Tesla. And also, Polestar being part of Volvo, I felt like Polestar was a kind of a newer name, at least in the US. Again, it wasn't something everybody had, but it wasn't some fly-by-night startup that I was afraid might be out of business in 2 years, and I'd be stuck with a car that I can never service or get parts for. You kind of figure with Volvo, they've been around a while, they're pretty stable, and pretty well known for safety and build quality. So I felt like I was pretty safe. So the Polestar app. When I first got this car, the Polestar app was hot garbage. It was essentially unusable. It would take forever to load. If you wanted to precondition the cabin in winter or summer, it just, maybe 1 out of 4 times it worked. It was just 100% unreliable. The app is pretty sparse as far as what you can do. You can unlock the doors, lock the doors. You can change your amperage settings and precondition the cabin. That's about it. And you can still do all those things. That's all you can do. But the app has improved greatly. Now, the times it doesn't work, are very, very few and far between. And a lot of times I think if it's not working, it's more because my phone needs to be restarted than anything else. The app has become very, very reliable as far as the cabin preconditioning, and it loads nice and quick every time I open it. Still wish it could do more, like you can't turn off your heated seats or your steering wheel. It would be nice if that was in the app, but the fact that it works so much better now is definitely appreciated, and makes the whole experience that much better. Because when you can't precondition your car, especially in the winter, if it's 10 degrees outside and you want to warm up your car before you get in and you can't, it's pretty irritating. Plus, preconditioning the cabin also gets the battery warmed up a little bit. So if you give it a good, maybe 5-10 minutes to warm up, you're warming the battery up a little bit, which is definitely better for the battery, and you're going to get better performance. The only thing about the app is that the phone as key does not work. I can lock and unlock the doors from the app, but I can't drive the car without the key. I've tried a million times to set that up. It does not work. It fails every time. And I've seen plenty of videos on YouTube. I looked it up where people have had a hell of a time. Polestar does not tell you that you have to have the keys in the back cup holder, the rear cup holder. Both keys have to be in there in order for you to set it up. And I've done that a bunch of times. When I got this car, I had an iPhone 13. It didn't work. I got an iPhone 14. It doesn't work. So I'm planning on getting a new phone in the next week or so. So I'll get an iPhone 15. We'll see if that works. I'll let you know if it does, but I'm not holding my breath. And I know it does work for other people. I've seen other people have it set up. Max from Out of Spec, it works on his Polestar. But on mine, I just cannot get it to work. I don't know why. It just fails every time. It just fails. But not that I would really use it that much, because honestly, based on the performance of the app in the past, I wouldn't feel 100% confident that if I left my house and I went somewhere, that when I came back out to the car, that it would actually even work, and I'd be stuck somewhere. So I just keep the key in my pocket. It's really not that big of a deal. But it is something that should work and doesn't. Other than that, the tech in the car is good enough for me. For the most part, pretty much like this screen. It's pretty basic. It's Android Automotive. When I got the car, it did not have CarPlay or Android Auto, which is weird because you would think it would have at least had Android Auto, since it's the Android Automotive system, but it didn't. So it was kind of, it was what it was. Through software updates, obviously it has CarPlay, and that works really well, although it does have to be wired. There is no wireless CarPlay on this car, which I don't really care, because I'll get to that in a second. This wireless charging pad is definitely a wireless baking pad in this car. It gets super hot. Really, if I was driving and I had my phone on this wireless charging pad for really more than like 40-45 minutes of solid driving, the phone would shut off because it would overheat. That's how hot this thing would get, and it's hot. But this is like the only convenient place here to really put the phone down. So for a long time I was putting my phone down face down so that I wouldn't charge. But just in a recent software update, they gave the ability to toggle the wireless charging pad on and off. So that's super cool, because now I just have it turned off, so I can just place my phone there. I have to plug it in for CarPlay anyway, so that works, totally fine. So, Google Maps, I mean, honestly, you can't really go wrong with Google Maps. They really are the best. And the cool thing is, you want to find charging stations. This will find them. It does route planning. I'm sitting here at the Tesla Supercharger, and they just recently added it to the mapping system. It did not appear as a charger that this car could use, but this one has a magic dock, so I can use it. I had actually tweeted at Polestar to see if they were going to have that added. They said they didn't know anything about it, but I don't know if it's Polestar or Google Maps, whatever. It's there now, so that's super cool. So the cool thing about that, and the reason that to me that was important, is so I can precondition on the way here. And then just the navigation, like if I was going to go, let's say, to Electrify America in Auburn, Mass. This will tell you, it gives you the route, but it tells you what your state of charge will be when you get there. And this I find to be very conservative. It actually underestimates. So a lot of times, like, because it almost seems like the farther you go. So this is about an hour away. So if I was to take this drive, even though it's saying right now I'd have 30% battery, it would probably be closer to 34%. And so I like the fact that the guessometer kind of, guesses low. So you're not surprised by thinking you're going to get there at 30%, and really you're only going to be at like 22%. The HVAC system's really good. I mean, I can't really complain about it. It's all here. Heated seats, heated steering wheel. You can change your temperature up and down. It's in increments of 2. All works great. Change your direction of, if you want the air to come out your feet, your face, or the windshield. All works good. All that's really good. You can set your parking timers, all that kind of good stuff. You have all your different settings for your heated seats, what you want to happen when you precondition the car, all that good stuff's right in there. Super easy to use. You can set your charging. You go in here, your drive. So I like the steering feel standard. Firm is like a little too heavy for me. You have your one pedal drive, which obviously if you have an electric car, why would you not have one pedal drive? Like when I see there's some electric cars that don't have it, I'm like, why wouldn't you have it? And of course I have creep off because this is not a gas car, so why would I want it to act like one? Makes no sense. Turn creep off. There are no modes in this car really. This is called sport mode, but honestly all it is turning off the traction control. And I don't really mind that. Like this car doesn't have modes, it just kind of is. But that's okay because I don't really worry about it. Like if I'm up on the highway and I want to go fast, I just put my foot down. If I need to pass somebody, just put my foot down. If I want an eco setting, I just don't rip it as hard. It's pretty simple. So modes, I don't know. I guess if you're into those things, then maybe that's important. But for me, it doesn't bother me at all. You have all your ADAS stuff, your assist stuff in here. All super easy. The adaptive cruise control in this car works really well. In stop and go traffic, all that. Lane keeping works really well. The only thing is like the pilot assist. It's like, it will steer, but you have to keep your hands on the wheel at all times. And a lot of times you have to keep some weight on it. So to me, it's like, it's not really helping me drive all that much. I'm still doing most of it myself, but it's okay. It definitely keeps you in the lanes. If you're not used to it, it's a little weird at first because it kind of tends to sort of get a little over to the right of the lanes, but it stays inside the lines. So it works really well. Not perfect. Definitely not what you would get in a Tesla, but that's okay because for me, I prefer to just drive. I like to drive. This car is fun to drive, so I'm good with that. Charging, you can set your charging levels here, your amperage. You can schedule. If you want to charge off peak. Normally I have it off now just so that it would start charging here. You have your tow mode in here. So if the car needs to get towed, you go in here and you set your tow mode so that they can roll it up onto a flatbed or tow it. Then you can go in, you have your Google Play Store. There's not a ton of apps available in the Play Store. It's pretty basic stuff. And what's weird is, this used to have an Electrify America app, and that's gone. I don't know what happened to it. I had it installed, and it disappeared from the Play Store. EA sucks anyway. You can go into your settings, and pretty much it's all here. Set, Bluetooth, set up your phone, how you want your display to look. Your system setting, if there's a software update, it's going to show up in here. OTA updates have been, they don't happen a ton, but probably every couple of months there's a decent update which adds a few things. Like I said, they recently did one that allowed you to toggle off the wireless charger, and that was definitely helpful. And of course you have your owner's manual in here. if you ever happen to need it. So the screen itself, not bad. It's obviously not quite as robust and doesn't have as many options as you would get on a Tesla, but it's certainly ample for what I do. It's snappy, it's fast, like it's not, the maps come up pretty quick. I'm fairly happy with the screen, with the tech in here. And you have a physical button for play and pause, for your defrosters, and for your hazard lights, so you're not stuck. You can actually open the glove box with an actual latch rather than having to go through the screen. So that's all good stuff too. I love the way this car looks. The design, not too flashy, just right. The faux grille, I like the old faux grille much better than I like the new sort of body panel thing they have on there, but that's a matter of preference. Got the gold brake calipers, super cool. You can see I'm at a Tesla charging station right now. That slick light bar in the back, super hot. Other thing I like about this car is that it's a lift back. Plenty of space in the back. It has this cool like fold up little divider, sort of hides all the stuff, keeps from moving around. Keep this up a lot. These hooks are awesome for groceries. They actually do work. You can hook grocery bags on here, they don't fall down. Works out pretty well. Let's pop the front open. Show you that real quick. It's not very big. It's a little boom, boom, boom. See if I can do it with one hand. I usually can. Not much to it. Got your spare or your roadside repair kit. No spare tire. And that's that. As with all Volvo products, push down 2 latches. So, yeah, this car is good looking. I mean, it really is. It is super sexy. So, service. I've not really needed service for this car. And that's one of the great things about electric cars, right, is they don't require very much service. However, one of the things that I did not know until after I got this car was Volvo will not service the Polestar, even though all the parts are the exact same parts. This platform that this car is built on is the same as the XC40. It's the exact same platform. All the parts are the same. The steering wheel is the same. It's the same. The only issue I had with this car was when I first got it, had it for about a week, and the TCAM unit stopped working. So the car couldn't connect to do GPS on the maps, couldn't connect to the internet. The SOS wouldn't work. If I had gotten to an accident, I wouldn't have been able to call for help. So that had to be replaced. And at the time, and I don't think this is the case now, but at the time, what I found out was a lot of Polestars were shipping from the factory with defective TCAM units. And if you don't know what a TCAM is, that's just the shark fin on the top of your car. That was not working. So, okay, I live 90 minutes west of Polestar, Boston. I thought, I can just call a Volvo dealer and they'll fix it. Nope. Had to go to Polestar, Boston. They did send a truck out, put my car up on a flatbed, gave me a loaner Polestar 2. Wasn't a performance pack, but whatever. They gave me a car. I wasn't stuck without a vehicle. So that was all cool. And I thought, okay, cool. Hang on a few days. I'll get my car back and the TCAM will work. But it got to be about 3 weeks. And when you have a brand new car, after almost a month of owning it, I only had it for 1 week. And the rest of the time it was in being serviced, just for some stupid little TCAM unit. I couldn't get a real answer out of the Polestar Boston, like, what's taking so long? It was always like, oh, just be a couple more days. And every week, a couple more days. I finally ended up connecting up with Gregor Hembro, who is the head of Polestar USA. And I sent him a message on LinkedIn beginning of May. It was about 8:15 on a Tuesday night, I believe. I sent him a message on LinkedIn, not thinking I would get much of a response. And to his credit, I don't think even a half hour went by and he responded. And it wasn't some form letter response. It was an actual response, like, I'm sorry about this. Give me a day to get with my team and figure out what's going on. This is not acceptable. We'll take care of this. And I thought, okay, cool. He responded. And, I thought, okay, he responded. That's great. But, I'm probably not going to hear anything else. The next day, I got a call. He called me himself and said, look, here's the problem. Chip shortage, all that. Keep in mind, this was April, May of 2022, right after we were basically coming out of COVID. And there was all kinds of supply chain issues still going on. There was still a lot of chip issues. So they were having trouble just getting the part from overseas. And he told me, look, there's a bunch of them in transit. There's literally has your name on one of them. And as soon as it gets to our hub in Jersey, we're going to send it right out to Polestar Boston overnight. He was like, I promise you, like, within a week, you'll have your car back. And so that was pretty cool. I have to say, like, he, the head of Polestar USA, he could have just blown it off and not answered it or handed it off to some, some lackey to just, give me some kind of story or brush off. But he didn't. He responded himself. So I give him a ton of credit for taking it on himself when he could have easily just blown me off. So, that goes to the level of customer service that Polestar has. They really do. I mean, the service department, I think, in Polestar Boston just didn't know what to say, because it seemed like such a little thing. Like, what's the big deal? It should take like 20 minutes to replace that part. They just couldn't get it, So that was on a Wednesday. And Friday afternoon, I got a phone call. Your car is ready. You can come pick it up anytime you want, or we'll deliver it back to you next week. And I was like, I'll come get it tomorrow. So as far as that goes, like, if you have issues with your car, it'll get taken care of. Like, they'll jump on it. They won't leave you hanging. I have to give a lot of credit to Polestar for stepping up and get my car back to me. And ever since, it's been perfect. I haven't had a single issue with it. Build quality on this car, literally couldn't be better. I mean, it is so solid. This car doesn't have a creak, a rattle, a squeak, nothing. When you're driving along, even going over some bumps, if anything's rattling around, it's your water bottle or something that you have in the car. The car itself is solid. It is a well-made, well put together, premium materials. Some people find this sort of like weave tech stuff to be kind of weird, but it's all recycled stuff, and it feels nice. It's a nice place to be in the front seat of this car. I mean, it's comfortable. This car has the leather seats, heated, ventilated. It's really good. Range. I think the EPA rated range on this, it's a dual motor, long range. It has the performance pack and the 20-inch wheels. So, I think EPA has it at like 240. I'd say real world, it's more like 210, maybe 220 in the summer. So the range isn't great, but it's not terrible. And for me, I don't take a ton of long road trips, so it's not the end of the world. I mean, I haven't found it to be an issue. I mean, if you're going to drive 200 miles, that's probably going to take you about 3 hours. You're going to want to stop somewhere. After, 2.5 hours of driving, usually you want to stop, take a break, stretch your legs, hit the restroom, grab something to eat, whatever the case may be. Who wants to drive for 4 or 5 solid hours? So it's actually kind of a break to be able to stop and charge somewhere. And unfortunately, we all know that DC fast charging for CCS cars is a dumpster fire in North America. But it is what it is. I've done okay. I mean, luckily for me, the places that I've gone, I really haven't ever had to wait for a charger. I've been to plenty EA stations where there's a lot of them broken, and that's pretty terrible. But I've been lucky, at least as far as I haven't ever been stuck and not been able to charge anywhere. So that's pretty good. But we definitely need to do something about our charging situation, which leads me to one of the things, like with this car, that is going to be a major improvement. I mean, I'm sitting at a Tesla Magic Dock station right now, and as you all know, in 2024, the Tesla supercharger network is opening up to CCS cars, whether it be through an adapter. The V4 dispensers have the Magic Dock built in. So that is like an automatic upgrade to this car that's coming next year. Now, Polestar is signed on to NACS, so coming in 2025, all their cars will be built with the NACS port anyway. But in spring of 2024, Polestar is going to make an adapter available. I'm sure it will cost $400 or $500, but whatever, I'll buy it because I want to be able to charge at Tesla superchargers. If I don't have to rely on EA or EVgo or some other janky network, I'm more than happy to not have to rely on them. I'd rather, if I have the choice of Tesla, EA, EVgo, Tesla's my number one pretty much every time. So the fact that Tesla's supercharger network is opening up is kind of upgrades the ability of this car, and just the ability to charge whenever I want. So it's definitely a plus for this car, and it's nothing that they did except to sign on for NACS and for the adapter to be available. So that's going to be a big help or a big improvement. So overall, I really dig this car. I don't have any regrets about buying it. I think if Tesla's pricing was more, where it is now back then, I probably would have decided to go with a Model Y and just been like everybody else and not had anything different. But because the pricing was relatively the same, I wanted a different thing, and I got that. And wherever I go, supermarket, out to dinner, people are always asking me, even still, what is that? Because there's not a lot of Polestars here in Western New England. In the town I live in, I was the first one to get one. Polestar confirmed that. I was the first one in my town to buy a Polestar. And I think since I've seen maybe 2 in town, and I don't see any anywhere. I mean, I go to charging stations all the time, DC fast charging stations. I've maybe seen another Polestar maybe 3 or 4 times in the last 18 months. I just don't see them. And I know in some parts of the country they're pretty popular. Like I met Kyle from Out of Spec at Out of Spec Dave's meetup 3-4 weeks ago, and he said out in Colorado where he lives, they see him all the time. Max has one, but I don't see him around here. So at least for me out here, I still have kind of a unique vehicle, and it's super fun to drive. I mean, it's fast. You're up on the highway, you can just go. It's got passing power. The straight line speed, it's 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. I'm not going to beat a Model Y performance or a Model 3 performance in a drag race, but I don't drag race Model 3s and Model Ys. I drive everyday driving like most people, So for me, I don't worry about that kind of stuff. I just know on the highway, when I need to pass, I can. This car's super quick, fun to drive, comfortable. It's super sexy on the outside. Just the looks of it, I really love it. It's understated, but it's almost like a sleeper car in a way that it doesn't look like it's as fast as it is. So overall, I would say I ended up making a good decision buying this car, and I would recommend Polestar to anybody that's looking at an EV. They're solidly built. There's no problems with build quality. They're super sexy, quick, and I got my eye on the Polestar 4 when that comes out next year. I wouldn't say that that's definitely what I'll do, but I could see myself being a Polestar guy for a while. But then again, Cybertruck is just out there waiting, so we'll see. But anyway, that's sort of my 16,000 mile, year and a half ownership review of the Polestar 2. I hope you're just super entertained by it, because, you know, how could you not be talking about electric cars, right? So I will see y'all next time. Just remember, EVs are awesome, and it's okay to be awesome. See you next time. Bye.